episode 406. I will be recapping an early episode of AEW Rampage and tonight's episode of WWE Friday Night Smackdown right here, right now, 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Good evening, Wrestling Fanatics. Welcome to tonight's episode. I am Lance Brock. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. And as I mentioned in that opening preview, going to talk about AEW Rampage and WWE Friday Night Smackdown. But before I get into that, today is May 19th. And I just want to mention that actually this morning, on this morning's episode of Good Morning Wrestling Fans, I was actually thinking about talking about May 19th, which I'm sure most wrestling fans remember that date because of the Big Red Machine Kane, the whole storyline and build-up with Kane revolving around the date May 19th, which was the date at the time when his movie See No Evil was to be released. So before I started, well, actually, a little bit before I started recording, because it was before I left the house, I was thinking what to talk about on today's episode of GMWF. So I realized what the date was, and by the time I left the house and went on the walk to work and I started recording, it completely left my mind, and I forgot about it. And I just started talking about last night's Impact Wrestling, Ring of Honor on Honor Club, and I completely forgot to have a special May 19th episode of Good Morning Wrestling Fans. Maybe next year, May 19th, 2024, on Good Morning Wrestling Fans, I can talk about the Kane May 19th storyline and the build-up to it. But on this episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic right now, gonna talk about first tonight's special early start time AEW Rampage on TNT, which was taped last Wednesday night, Austin, Texas. The commentators for tonight are good old JR Jim Ross, the legendary Tony Schiavone, Excalibur, and the Ocho Chris Jericho. And we start things off. Blackpool Combat Club defeats the Best Friends and Bandito, known as Best Amigos, in a trios match. The AEW TBS champion Jade Cargill defeats Danny B to move her record to 58-0. Then after the match, Mark Sterling gets on the mic and says they didn't expect much. And at this time, he brings out another opponent for Jade. It is Genesis. Another quick squash match here. Jade is now 59-0. Mark Sterling, gets on the mic again. And they want to go up to 60-0. So Jade's third opponent, comes out to the stage. But then we see the recently reinstated Talia Valkyrie. And first the opponent does not want to leave. And then Talia knocks her out of the way, goes down to the ring, and goes right after Jade, hits her with the Road to Valhalla, and Talia Valkyrie stands over her, and they will have another match for the AEW TBS Championship. Jade Cargill defending against Talia Valkyrie, but this time Talia will not be banned from using the Road to Valhalla, or as Jade Cargill refers to as Jaded. The Acclaimed were in action tonight. We get a segment of QTV, and then at this time, Chris Jericho at the announce table addresses the Falls Count Anywhere match loss to Roderick Strong on Dynamite last Wednesday. He addresses Adam Cole. He mentions how the Jericho Appreciation Society was not there outside to ambush Roderick Strong. And then at this time, we see Adam Cole standing outside of the arena. And Jericho gets those legal papers that he had made that banned Adam Cole from coming into the building. He says they're no more. He rips them up. And then Adam Cole goes into the arena, makes his way up to the stage. Him and Jericho immediately start brawling. Security comes down, try to break it up. And it is now official at Double or Nothing 1 week from this Sunday. We will see Chris Jericho versus Adam Cole, and it will be an unsanctioned match. The main event of this week's AEW Rampage features Texas's own The Natural Dustin Rhodes defeat Bishop Khan. But then after the match, Dustin is attacked by the Mogul Embassy, led by Prince Nana. And Keith Lee does make his way to the ring to try to make the save for his partner Dustin Rhodes, but the numbers are too much as Swerve Strickland and Prince Nana lead the attack on both men. And that was tonight's episode of AEW Rampage, an early one this week. Again, I know last week it was on Saturday night, but the week before that it was at this time slot, Friday night, 6:30. And it was a pretty good episode. I don't know if I would say it was real great, but it was definitely watchable, I would say. And then let's go over to Fox for WWE Friday Night Smackdown. And we have a new team to Smackdown coming up from NXT, Pretty Deadly, and they defeat the Brawling Brutes. I'm not sure if this would be an unpopular opinion or not, but even when they were on NXT, I'm not really a big fan of Pretty Deadly. Just kind of so-so, I think. Also, Asuka defeats Zelina Vega via submission, and then she does not break the hold. She keeps it locked in, and Bianca Belair makes the save for Zelina. And as Asuka is exiting the ring, she once again goes for the mist, but this time she did not quite connect on Bianca like she did last week. So luckily for Bianca Belair, she avoided the mist this week. The Street Profits defeated the team of LA Knight and Rick Boogs, who during the match was booging out. And after the match, LA Knight, upset with the loss, attacks Rick Boogs. Alba Fire and Isla Dawn are in action next to defeat Valentina Feroz and Yuzla Leon. And in the main event of the evening tonight, but first I should probably mention the opening segment. I know it's a little late, but the opening segment, which featured the WWE Undisputed Universal Champion Roman Reigns, the Wise Man Paul Heyman, Solo Sikoa, and the Usos. I take that back. They weren't there at the beginning. I know I'm messing up, sorry. But the three of them were in the ring, and then they were interrupted by the WWE Undisputed Tag Team Champions, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. And then we see the Usos make their way from the crowd and attack Zayn and Owens. They think they're doing good. They think they're going to impress Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, by doing this. But it is the opposite. Roman Reigns is not happy with the Usos attacking them because it was not what he wanted to do. And then in the main event, the LWO, Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar defeat the Usos. And that was tonight's episode of WWE Friday Night Smackdown. I thought it was good. Kind of like, actually, I think I might say about the same as tonight's episode of Rampage. It was good, but definitely not bad. Would I say it was a great episode, though? I don't think so. So overall, with the two shows tonight, Rampage and Smackdown, I would say we did get some good wrestling, but nothing real spectacular that would blow you away or anything. But still not going to complain too much about it, but still two good shows. And I must have missed this somehow when I talked about the Warner Brothers Discovery up front from Wednesday. it actually was announced that as of right now, in June, I think that one thing having to do with AEW is coming to HBO Max, or as it will be changed to in a few days or so, Max, and that is AEW All Access, which I guess they mean that it's just going to be this first season that was previously on TBS. They're going to probably put all the episodes on there so you can watch them anytime, or as the young kids say these days, binge when they talk about shows. I think that's right. I could be wrong, but I think that's what they say about TV shows these days. But I don't know what the young kids say these days. And so as of right now, there is one AEW program that will be on Max. Hopefully there will be more, or at least I'm hoping so anyway. And I'm hoping for maybe one day a possible deal with AEW and Max, similar to the deal that is with WWE and Peacock. I don't know if AEW, since they have right now 5 pay-per-views a year, I don't know if they will put all of them up on Max, but I wouldn't be surprised if they do maybe 1 or 2 specials a year that are exclusive on Max, because All In London so far, when they talk about it and hype it, they haven't actually said pay-per-view at all. So a lot of people are thinking that could be a special that is streams on Max possibly. And who knows, that could be true. That could happen. Even they might just be waiting till it gets a little closer to All In before they actually announce it. But that's all I have for tonight for this episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic, episode 406. Thank you once again, everyone, for tuning in tonight right here on Spreaker or whichever website or app you listen on. Remember, as always, if you have any questions, comments, suggestions, or just want to say anything, you can leave them in the comments section if the website or the app you are listening on has a comment section. And also click a like or a heart or a thumbs up, whichever they have on there. Share it, give it a 5-star rating, leave a nice review. That would all be appreciated. Also, if you have a product or a business that you want to be advertised, I'll advertise it right here for you on 360 Wrestling Fanatic and GMWF. I'll try not to mess it up too bad. Email me 360wrestlingpodcast@gmail.com. Hopefully we can work something out. Once again, the email is 360wrestlingpodcasts@gmail.com. And hope to have more new episodes of 360 Wrestling Fanatic coming at you soon. Stay tuned. And I will be back tomorrow morning for the Saturday episode of Good Morning Wrestling Fans. Until then, I am Lance, and I am a wrestling fanatic.